Roll call?
Aparna Chibber?
Here.
Christine Bertino?
Here.
Jack Ambler?
Here.
George Bass?
Here.
Tina Sokolowski?
Okay, running down the agenda items. Public comment, there's no one here. No invited guest. No need for an executive session. So, approval of the minutes from October 28th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The financial report. So we've all had an opportunity to review it. Do I have any questions? Do I have a motion to approve the bills in a total of $382,505.91?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed.
I'll do roll call for that.
Okay.
So, Aparna Chibber?
Yes.
Christine Bertino?
Yes.
Jack Ambler?
Yes.
George Bass?
Here, yes.
Anything from you wanted to highlight, Shannon, and your,
I did do the RFPs, but we did put that under Brent's report.
okay.
So we can talk about them then, or we can talk about them now. It's up to you. Doesn't matter to me. Can wait for Brent's report if,
Chronological, I don't know.
Just go in order.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, solicitors report.
oh, you got to approve the financial report.
I'm sorry? Oh, do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 We only have two action items for you this evening. One is a resolution authorizing the release of the maintenance, security, and professional services escrow for the property located at 400 West Elm Street. The developer is 400 West Elm Owner LLC. This is a pretty routine resolution to release the maintenance, security, and professional escrow for a project that is complete and has passed all the final inspections. So we're just giving them back their maintenance, security, and they'll move their back. Pending the final bills.
So we need a motion for that, right?
How much is it? How much is the, no, any idea? No.
So if you look on the escrow statement in my report, it should be, hang on one second. I can give you. So 400 West Elm is $6,502.32 for the regular escrow, barring no new invoices. And the performance security is $2,327.95.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we need a,
A motion.
okay. Motion to approve the release authorizing the return of the maintenance security services escrow for the 400 West Elm Street.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
The second action item we have this evening is a resolution authorizing release of Deduct meter escrow funds. This resolution is to release the remaining balances in the Deduct meter escrow accounts since the authority has continued the Deduct meter program and all Deduct meters have expired. Since we're not doing that program anymore, whatever money is sitting in escrow, we give back.
To who? Who are we giving it back to?
The property.
I have the accounts if you want them.
Yes.
Okay.
So it would be $153 for 3 Tower Bridge, $353 for 2 Tower Bridge, $576 for 8 Tower Bridge, and $459 for Conshohocken Italian Bakery, as long as there are no more bills.
Okay.
Right?
So I need a motion to approve that.
I'll make the motion to approve the release of deduct meter escrow funds.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And that concludes our action items and our report, unless there are any questions.
I just wanted to call out that the liens that have been filed, or the anticipate filing.
Okay.
So, I don't know if we should mention that, I think it's in there, in the report.
We're constantly filing liens and satisfying them, so if you have a question about it, I'm happy to answer, but.
I thought I read something that said when we tell people that there's going to be a lien, that has been successful in encouraging them to pay. So,
It does most of the time.
Yeah, they get a warning letter.
They do, they get a 30-day letter, and then they get a 10-day letter, and then the lien.
And had we discussed anything about, like, is that the right pacing of notification to incent them to pay? Or are there people who are not paying and,
Part of
So-
that is required by law. The spacing of when you have to notify somebody before you put a lien on their property is by law. You're supposed to do it at least on 2 occasions, under the theory that maybe they don't see the first one or take the first one seriously. But then we go and lien them after that. I think what we find is that the 30-day letter is really the one that gets people's attention. They've either missed it, or they thought their bank was taking care of it, or they thought their homeowners association. The 10-day letter usually is they're not planning on paying. So that's why we only give them 10 days at that point in time, so.
and I think what I might be thinking of is later on, we're going to discuss budget. And one of the things was a monthly bill as opposed to a quarterly bill. And that may reduce the amount of liens that would have to be sent out. Like, there was some logic behind that, in addition to getting the money sooner. So, thank you. That was my question.
Okay. So moving along, engineers report.
Get the
We have
motion.
to-
I don't think we
Sorry,
accepted
motion
my
to
report.
approve the solicitor's report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Engineers report.
Good evening. Big item for this month is the wastewater treatment plant electrical upgrades. We issued the notice of award on September 29th. We issued the notice to proceed on October 29th. We held a pre-construction meeting with the contractor and authority staff and Keystone Engineering Group on November 12th. Contractors continuing submitting shop drawings. We've actually been getting very rapid turnaround from Keystone. I think once again, as Fred Ebert had indicated, from Keystone working with the various vendors, the vendors knew what was going to be expected, and there's not a lot of guessing. Right now, construction is really going to, I want to say, ramp up in January of 2026. There will be some temporary rearrangement, other type of temporary equipment being put in place in December, but nothing as far as a real construction goes. We're hoping to have the construction complete by July of 2026. We've been getting some updated delivery times on the equipment that was better than was first, proposed. Contractor's been providing us an updated schedule, which I presented a copy to the board members tonight. Contractor's also applying for his electrical permit from the borough this week. And the authority will be requesting a waiver of the fees, and that was discussed with the borough recently.
Permit fees?
Yes. So that's it for the electrical upgrades. Only a couple minor projects. 401, 433 Washington Street. We're working with the contractor on getting the punch list items resolved. 720 Spring Mill Avenue development. Received record as-built drawings of the sanitary sewers, and we're reviewing them. And we're performing plan reviews for several other smaller developments within the borough. That's my report, unless the board has any comments or questions.
Any comments or questions? I have a motion to accept the engineer's report.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
For the record, clearly the shortest engineer's report we've ever had.
I find that extremely funny for some reason.
It's true.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Will you be coming
Losing
back
my,
next month?
agenda here. Great. So, operations manager's report.
I got a couple things here. Our odor control system requires the media be exchanged they say every 3 to 5 years. We find it 5 years is the right place to do it. So 2021 is when we did it last, and that cost around $62,000. So Brent and I are doing some research on purchasing the media ourselves and the equipment to do it in-house and see how we can compare that and if we can get some savings that way. So I'm still getting that underway. Hopefully next meeting I'll have a clearer picture of that. I'm also currently completing the paperwork for the renewal forms for our property insurance that we do every year. That policy expires January 31st. So I'll be getting that stuff together in the next week or so. We were approached by Montgomery County Center for Disease Control about taking part in a sampling, they call it a surveillance program, where at no cost to us, they want to come in and split sample our twice a week samples, and they're going to have their lab take them out. They provide everything, and they just want to test for random diseases like SARS or maybe COVID, and use that data. And they needed one more plant of our size to do this. So I cleared it with Brent and said, let's do it. So I'm in the middle of wrapping that up now. We should begin sampling next month, and that's going to run through September of 28. So it'd be interesting to see what's coming in that we don't already test for. So, and it's helping out with the study. So we're doing our part. The last thing I want to mention.
Well, just on that one, is it just for the, it's for diseases? Are they doing drug testing as well? Do you know?
They didn't mention anything like that. No.
Okay. Because you can, okay.
This is all related to, they started this program back during COVID, maybe the third quarter of the COVID, to start determining, you can use wastewater to determine a lot of issues with diseases.
Yeah.
And we're not getting into drugs at, that point.
Yeah, okay.
We're just doing specific.
Yeah, at least if we're doing that, we should know. But yeah, I think that sounds good otherwise. Yeah.
And the last thing I just want to announce, so we rested on the date for this year's BCA holiday party. It's going to be Friday, December 19th, down at the plant as usual. And the announcement will be going out shortly after Thanksgiving. If there's no questions, that concludes my report.
Okay, any questions for Ed? I have a motion to approve the operations manager's report.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Executive Director's report.
Okay. So we've been talking about budgets for stormwater and sanitary since August. As we move we have budgets in front of you, which the sanitary, there is currently, if you recall, we did a 5-year structure, and next year, the sanitary does have already approved rate increase for next year, what, 9%? 9% for Conshohocken and 5% for West Conshohocken. So if we talk about sanitary specifically, the budget is very similar to 2025. The major items is addressed is, as we know, in our financial department, we do have one individual that will be retiring. So the major item in the budget relates to the finance department in regards to preparing for her retirement and when we hire a new person. And I don't know, do you have any other, I mean, that's, I mean, if you look at the budget, we're really just holding steady on our budgets. And I know I did reach out to all of you with any questions, if you had anything. You know, the goal is us, and you hear what Ed even said, we're trying to optimize our own staff doing projects, replacing media. You know, you heard a couple weeks, last month doing the roof. We're doing polymer system. The goal of us is obviously to do more and more of our projects ourselves. We do have the engineers doing our electrical process. That's beyond our scope. But these I call it like replacement media is not, yes, it is a big project, but our staff should be able to handle it. We have a 3-man maintenance department. We should be able to utilize that. And something that's costing $62,000 5 years ago is going to cost, if we bid it out, probably 90 to 100, and we might be able to do it more cost effective than 62 if we do it ourselves.
Does that
Optimization of
change-
the plant, go ahead.
Does that change, like, criteria for hiring? Like, has that influenced?
So what's unique about, yes, what I look at is hiring, eventually in the 5 to 10 year, you're going to be hiring maintenance individuals with operating experience and even electrical. However, if you know the marketplace right now is very unique in getting staff. We're fighting from the little niche to get the most qualified individual. And we just, and I did last year, we went out and went after I call it blue collar, white collar. That's what we need, blue and white at the same time. We need hands-on mechanical abilities, but have the knowledge. And that's when we went to Thaddeus Stevens, and we hired that individual. I mean, we really need, our positions, I look at as both blue and white.
Like engineering technicians.
Yeah, that's what we are, and it's only going to get more technical. I mean, I know we've talked about computer systems at the plant. We're going to have our pump stations going SCADA control. I don't see the internal of the plant go, but electronics are the key. Maintaining our product. If we're doing this huge project, it's costing a couple of $1 million of electrical. Well, we should actually, can we get an electrician that does our own maintaining that in 15 years we don't have a $2-3 million project in front of us. I mean, this is from 1980s that we're doing. But optimization is trying to do more ourselves. And one thing is that we have talked about, and again, all we are as a wastewater treatment plant is our goal is treatment of effluent and make sure our effluent's in compliance, and we produce a sludge. And we're currently analyzing our sludge to determine where we stand in 5 to 10 years out to make sure that we're optimizing that operation, because we know the expenses are going to go up. And our key is maintaining the quality and decrease the quantity. And that's where we stand. If we improved that, and we're still in amongst that study right now. But it all relates to producing sludge. And we have a very efficient operation here in regards to RBCs. Rotating biological contact do not have a huge energy demand, and they're very efficient. And they don't produce a lot of sludge. I mean, you heard Fred say that before, and you hear that, we have a very efficient. So optimization is all going to lead back to our sludge generation and doing stuff with and improving our efficiency on the digesters. And we have, if you notice, we're producing less sludge than we did 3 years ago, and we're still doing a better job. But
With more EDUs.
with more EDUs, 1,000 EDUs. or more.
Significantly more EDUs.
What do you have in the budget for the sludge improvements then, or what, that's kind of your staff's time more so than, like, I think we got that quote to do some of that work from the provider or whatever. Is that, do you have money in the budget this year for
So
that?
the key that we could do with the digesters to improve it, is reducing our energy quantity by doing something with our blowers.
And that's the Pico
Yeah,
one?
Pico, we apply for a grant there, which is due by May. And then obviously, whatever Material Matters comes back with their analysis, and Ed, you can jump in at any time. I mean, they've been working, correlating with you at all times at this point, and they're still, I'd say, 50% through the process?
Probably.
So, we'll be seeing that report probably in the next 2 months to
That's to
provide
get
with
to Class A, right?
the class, gets to Class B and eventually get Class A.
Yeah, okay. So that's already paid for, and the other one's a grant that we would, okay.
So we're applying for a grant from PE? Did I hear
What
that?
we're going to do is if we reduce our footprint of kilowatts, we apply to Pico.
Right.
And they do their analysis, and then for every theoretical kilowatt, you get a certain percentage dollar back to help pay for your
Off the
process that
bill.
you're doing. Yeah.
Because one of the questions I have, and I guess it's related to the budget, is, okay, we're doing the electrical upgrade based upon a grant that we got. This is something that we all recognize, I say we all. You guys have pointed out a couple of years ago that we needed to do, and Fred was able to get the grant. What other things do we have in the works? I did see on your report something, the papers are all messed up now. Here it is. All right. Planned, unplanned, ongoing major items to improve operations. So you talked about sludge processing. Are there any other items, like the electrical upgrade, that we need to start thinking about from a capital, I don't want to say capital improvement, but a capital expenditure situation?
So the only main thing that, if you look in front of us, is obviously replacing what? The B train,
That, and
Yeah.
then the utility piping.
yeah, the utility piping, which my goal with that would be, we do that internally with the borough. But the
So you can do that
RBC,
without an increase, without a capital request, right? So, the question is basically, are there things out there we should be planning for from a capital expenditure standpoint?
well, in conjunction with that, obviously, we have our rate analysis that we're doing, we currently are doing the 9 to 5%. Next year, we'll be working with HRG to do a rate analysis. Again, if we had that preliminary one we did with Pennsylvania, PMA, or Pennsylvania Rural. PA Rural did an analysis for us, which was a free of charge because we're part of that program. If you recall, that was a 10% increase starting 2027 through 2031 each year. Obviously, we're going to get HRG to do a further analysis in conjunction with that one, which would coincide with our capital plan as we move forward. Plus, obviously, we'll be obviously looking at grants as well, because there are always grants to get.
But what is our capital plan? What things do we have? And not to pay for it, but, what do we have in the works?
It'd be just like we just mentioned, utility, water, and the BRBCs.
Okay.
So
Other than that,
Other than that, everything's running good.
I would say yes, and
Pump replacements.
we got
Well,
West Contra.
which is standard, either maintenance or preventive maintenance.
anything with the headworks, I kind of had some issues with that, but.
That's what we're doing in conjunction. That's the second phase of I call it the electrical that we're going to do. The pump, the headworks,
Okay.
controls,
Yeah.
and then and the only other major item is West Conshohocken, his pump station.
And
That's
what's
the
that,
same
this-
thing like we're doing our, West Conshohocken, if you walk into that pump station, you walk in our pump station, they look the same. And they've been built basically all the same years in the 80s, and that facility will need to be upgraded as well. So you actually have 3 items that need to be addressed after we get done with this electrical.
Right. But if we project it out, they would, so when do we start doing that, the projection out to do this stuff?
This is all your,
Next year?
a 5-year to 10-year capital plan.
Right.
Yes, we give Plymouth Township a 10-year plan every year.
Okay.
I don't have a copy of that with me.
I mean, the
That's
belt,
okay.
if you recall, the belt press was in that conjunction, which was probably gonna be replaced now. That was the one item that we ceased right away. It was an operator issue, not a equipment issue. Depends on what's gonna come out with the study from Material Matters, will determine what we're probably gonna do in 5 to 10 years out to reduce our quantities going out the door.
Which will actually have like some return on investment as opposed to like just the electrical thing that just needs to be done and it's not, yeah, I mean, it's like return on investment is just this, you know, safety of your equipment and uptime, I guess, but.
Is anything we do with solids handling, specifically if we get into some type of product or we're gonna dry sludge or whatever, obviously since we're, walk across the street, how close we are to the people, we have to make sure we're cognizant of the odors.
Yeah.
And that is gonna be the huge process. Whatever we do, we have to make sure our footprint is small, that we have no odors off the site. Because once you start drying sludge, you develop odors. You're dealing with organic and biodegradable stuff, and it's just nature of the beast, you're gonna get odors.
I think you're kind of getting to like these, are the rate increases proportionally up to plan for these
Well,
larger
I feel
items?
like I beat this dead horse every year at this time, all right? Because it's just something I think about, like, we don't really have, well, we do have a capital plan,
We do.
right? So it's just not visible every month, so I tend to forget about it. It's got nothing to do with you guys, more has to do with me, not remembering, that we have one.
Does the capital plan line up with this, or how do we,
The
how do
capital
they
plan,
interact?
as we did that analysis with our costs for the capital moving through with the Pennsylvania Rural, that included all our capital items without receiving any grants.
Right, yeah, we don't.
And so the goal is, the way I look at our budgets moving forward, the goal is even from the stormwater and the sewer side, the time we hit 2032, we're stabilized in regards to the way I look at it, is from 2032 to maybe as high as 2040. If we do it correctly, you'll be stabilized from 2032 to 2040. I mean, if you look out, if we get in the 2030s, your next phase is gonna be you have to do another RBC. And then you're gonna have it by 2040, you'll have another RBC, right? It's every 5 years. So you're looking over the next 3 5-year cycles, you're looking at RBC replacement. This electrical, what you're doing here, this should be a 30-year process. And the solids handling is gonna be the major item that we come out, and then that will turn in a lot of jurisdictions as we go through with our budget for HRG to do. Once we get that formalized over the next month or two, we get HRG by March, April, having us the long-term agenda for the sanitary end, to include what we see with the solids handling end.
Say that last sentence again, so your HRG's number, say that again, sorry.
We're gonna be getting a quote from them to proceed to do analysis for our sanitary end.
Capital.
That would include capital and the sewer rates going out for like a 5-year rate analysis.
Okay.
Just like they've done for the stormwater, which is a 3-year, which we'll talk about once we get to the stormwater.
Okay. So they're gonna be like backing up this PA, either backing up
Correct.
the PA rural or fine tuning it or whatever, okay,
Yes.
cool.
They're actually gonna do much more in depth than we did with the PA rural.
And would have, oh, good.
No, good.
No.
No, I have a question on the budget. I have a very
Okay,
specific question.
just on the, and so the stuff that comes back from that sludge group, sorry, I forgot their name. The
Material Matters.
Material Matters, do we have budget for them to do anything if they come back and say, hey, you guys need to start doing this, or we're gonna be pushing that to next year, like kind of the results to next year? Is it, like if they come back and say, hey, we wanna start making these improvements, that's like we gotta pull it, but that gets pushed to next year? Like, is there budget?
So if you look at, we currently have a contract with Mascaro.
Yeah,
Our game plan would be within the next, when that ends, I think that was a 5-year, right?
5 years.
So we're in
in the third year.
We're in the 3rd year. So your goal with that Material Matters is over the next 2 to 3 years, phasing in the approach to get to us Class B. So when we go out to bid, we include our sludge as Class B. Then Class B and non-classified. I see us getting to Class B pretty easily. Class A is going to require a major capital investment.
Okay.
And you're talking off the cuff, probably $3 to $5 million
Yeah.
to get that done. And it depends on what we want to do. I mean, if we get to the point where we look at the cost benefit analysis, knows that we potentially, they're going to be $300 a ton, we can do a payback period for we do that. You know,
Right, that would be a normal capital. Right. Yeah.
But if we can get our sludge to Class B, and we drop it from 300, potentially in 3 to 5 years out, it's going to be $300, and we can drop it down in the under 100, we're saving more than we were today's dollar.
So all the so I guess all the sludge improvements would not be happening next year. Right? Yeah. it would be- okay.
I'd say it's a phasing approach over the next 3 years. And I'm hoping the Class B can be very readily, that we're ready for the next go-around for the bidding. Because it's going to take at least a year, once we do the formulation, then we have to go back to DEP, then we have to get a permit that we're meeting Class B, and then that the DEP is going to have to give a permit for that. So there's actually, it'd be like a 2-year process to get to that point.
Nothing, just on those other that's one of my points, and I think it's a good, any grant money, obviously, we should be going after, and I'm sure it's annoying, we probably say that in every one of these meetings as well, and I know Fred does a good job of going after it, he's looking at the other ones too, but same thing, I mean, I don't know, I just want to keep driving, that's like, other than the ways you're talking about reducing money and the sludge, yeah, I'm just trying to,
Get the government money.
yeah, get the government money, spend some government money so that the time, so that the ROI is just reduced for us, basically, but,
I mean, if you think about it, our capital plan over the last couple of years has been grant funded. I mean, we've been the board and Fred's been very successful in getting us grants.
I personally have not helped in the grant process whatsoever.
You're right.
I have not helped in the grant process whatsoever,
I'm
but.
helping by not being involved.
By not being- yeah,
If we stay out of the way, it's better.
Exactly.
exactly, I don't know, that,
I mean, if you saw behind the lines, I know between Tina, myself, and Fred, when we had meetings coming up, Fred and myself gave the information to Tina as she went forward.
Beautiful.
To give her information, so there's contacts, and Tina has done an excellent job on that behind the lines.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't know, I just didn't know if there's any other, similar to the guy came in for the waste one, would you, for the solids one, would you have somebody come and look at the electrical efficiency stuff? I know, I feel like we've asked Fred before, and he doesn't necessarily see a lot of immediate stuff for that either, but, I mean, it might be like $5-10 grand to have somebody come around and tell us, or you could then give me that document and can tell me to go, I can ignore Jack for
So
the next.
if I go, the plant is very efficient in the way it is right now. I mean, I know you're doing your LED lights here and there.
Yeah.
The last item is really our blowers. That's it. Our
Sure.
blowers to our digesters.
Oh, for the digest, yeah, right.
And that's basically getting an infrastructure and putting, a VFD. We can go putting dissolved oxygen meters on and put a little PLC that monitors it and oscillates it that way. I'm not sold on that yet because digesters are very unique in regards and very aggressive to destroy equipment.
Yes, sensors don't like being in.
Yeah.
I know PICO has a program for consumers that they'll check your efficiency or lack thereof. Do they have,
Yeah, that's what we're referring to. as
that's the
digesters.
program, okay.
Okay, so moving on to the budget, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, do we have to accept anything
Well,
first?
So
Just
we
not
have
until
two
we get
ways
past
we
the
can do this.
budget.
Obviously, we're gonna have a meeting December 15th. If we can develop, obviously get all our resolution, the budget is a dollar amount, the sewer's not changing, other than you approve the budget for 2026. And the stormwater, as we discussed that, there's gonna be rate increases with that, in conjunction with HRG, if you wanna make a little presentation. and then we can approve the stormwater at that's December 15th. So it's up to however you want to proceed, but the budget's set for sewer for next year. As you recur, on the second page, and Shannon, you can jump in here anytime, that, we're looking at a budget of 3.692 our expenses for next year, correct? And as I said, the major item in the budget for next year directly correlates to the financial department in regards to, we have Linda retiring, and the job description will be changing to be our assistant. The game plan with that is the individual we hired would be equal, basically almost equal to her position, that we can do the both. So there's going to be higher qualifications coming in. And I think it's warranted based upon the situation that we had this year, with our own staff.
What'd you have to pull out that you didn't, what were you sad about pulling out of the budget? Was there, what kind of stuff didn't make the final piece, or you know what I mean? Or it's just kind of incremental change, so you are maybe funding something a little less and more, or any, just curious on what the.
It's really, I won't say it's a duplicate of this year, except for the expenses with staffing.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's really nothing else. I mean, our sludge is.
What is a duplicate? Pretty much it is.
It really is. I mean, it's a staffing issue.
Right.
I don't anticipate any other staff retiring this year from our
Operations?
3 years, next 3 years possibly.
next 3 years. We're going to have probably a
Two of
50.
them are foremen. Actually, there are our 3 longest tenured employees.
So,
They got about 75 years here between the 3 of them.
so in
They're
3
my
years,
age.
you're going to be losing half our staff, if I read it right. And that's why we already hired one individual, which we replaced the one individual that left,
Right.
to make a higher qualification in conjunction with that, to be a maintenance oriented. Am I missing anything else?
When you said,
The only
Go ahead.
thing I think that we didn't budget for or talk about was just vehicles. I know that we're going to talk about doing that in the near future, replacing some of the vehicles, but
And we'll do that in conjunction with, as we do an analysis for our sanitary. We'll have a capital plan to start moving forward to replace vehicles over a 3 or 5 year time frame. As you mentioned, the capital.
Right, yeah, well, but that's a capital expense, but a
Yes.
different type of capital expense. We're depreciating, well, we depreciate everything, but
Can you remind me, why is the income for this year forecasted so much higher than the plan? Where's that coming from?
Right.
The 2025 forecast net income.
so that net income includes 735,000 that we were going to take out of the connection fees account if we need to cover some of the costs, like our loans and stuff like that.
Okay.
We may not have to do that, so the actual budget really would come in at 474,921.
well, we did that last year, right?
We did that last year.
If you
and I-
recall, I think we actually did, 2 years in a row?
Yeah, we did it 2 years in a
So
row.
we got approval, Mike gave us approval that we can use our fees, our hookup, our
Connection fees.
connection fees to help pay off our loans. We actually becoming more stabilized right now. If you recall, if you look at our cash reserves, we're actually moving in a really good direction. So we're actually, her and I discussed this, maybe we don't have to supplement as
And-
much.
Right, and we
Which
did,
allows us to have a capital reserve to do our projects.
right, and we did not supplement the loan that we paid this time, currently. We left that the way that
is
it
good.
is.
Leaving the money where it is it?
Yeah, leaving it in the connection fees rather than pulling it over, yes.
But that still counts as income here in this budget?
Well, it was just more income for the sanitary, that you would take it out of the connection fees and move it to the operating budget so that we could pay for things. It's not
Did we move it
necessarily.
back now, since we didn't use it for that, or?
Yeah, so that's why it would actually be the 474,921, not the 1,210,000. If we don't transfer any money, it would just be the 474,000.
So it's a decrease from this year.
Yes.
Which shows our cash
Yes.
reserves are supplementing our operation
Yes.
better.
Right.
And allows us to use those hookup fees for our capital improvements.
Right. And the replacement person, to replace the person who's retiring, we're changing the job description.
Correct.
To give them more responsibility. Is that at a higher salary?
We had a higher, what we did is we did an analysis of all, how many people did we reach out? How many municipalities? It's in here that we reach out to a lot of municipalities to see where we start competitively are. So if you look at our structure of the finance, we are a little low, so that would be in conjunction of upping the associated things, so we can get someone more in position. We want a degreed individual with background into this.
And just throwing it out there, because I just know of somebody with a personal situation, would somebody who has experience with grant requests be something? Okay. Okay.
So we did do it, if you reviewed everything, there was analysis in there that we actually reached out to many municipalities
Yeah.
in there.
Okay, so we're not approving the budget tonight, we're going to approve the budget on the 15th, or?
We could do that. I mean, correct, Michael, we could just wait till the 15th to approve all the budgets at that time.
Yep.
And we have the dollar, we'll just go down the line and approve it in December 15th.
Okay,
I'm fine with that, if
if you're all going to be there.
yeah.
Okay,
So you're fine with the current budget as we stand for the sanitary?
yeah.
I mean, is it worth discussing, are we gonna discuss the rate increases? And I guess this one's the planned one already, the 9, and so
Yeah.
there's, but, I mean, PA Rural Water is basically telling us that we're,
That will be used in conjunction with
So
us
that's-
to do a formalize with our hired consultant to do
okay,
our analysis.
so we'll be talking rate analysis in a couple months probably. or
Probably,
6 months, or, I don't know.
I would, you're probably looking at March, April,
Okay, okay.
that we would have this presented. Is that fair to say? We could probably get something by April?
You tell me when you need it.
Yeah, I'll just tell, we'll get it done. So that would be presented, him and I had a discussion tonight, how we're gonna proceed.
So it's only
That
the
was-
sewer budget that we're discussing right now?
Yeah, that's
The rest
correct.
is just information?
Yeah. And that was discussion between Lauren and I that we should actually do, HRG should do our analysis.
Yeah, this led you to that.
Yeah. And that just gave us a ballpark to understand where we are at this point.
So is admin budget included in the stormwater budget?
We in the conjunction of our finance,
Yeah.
we did not include that in there.
That's not in the stormwater, that's in the Senate.
We don't have really much expenses in our department as it relates to stormwater. Our goal is all along was keep the funds in the capital and pay, and obviously pay for our services that are doing through the borough. I mean, I'll be honest, there is not a tremendous amount of time for us for stormwater. It's minimized. Other than the recent thing when we had the popular, that we had some, I don't even say hours of work, but
Oh, yeah.
but you were handling that to replace the popular issue that we had,
That was the train,
the train issue.
okay. Yeah, how's that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
how is
we're in
that?
a stalemate on that because of SEPTA. I might have to get Michael involved we're not getting any traction from SEPTA.
Well, they won't have any traction for their train if they don't.
I know that. It's getting to the point where I need probably we're gonna get our professional services involved, which would be our legal end, to get this done, because we can't keep waiting. Because now we have a liability
If
there.
it's not, right now, it's important but not urgent. If it becomes urgent and important, then it's a big problem.
Yes, and we don't want to be there.
Right.
And we know there's degradation there, so.
Do they not know that it's?
Well, they know.
Yeah,
HRG's been reaching out to them, and we're just not getting any traction from them.
it's just septic.
So there might be, our legal counsel to get involved.
Okay, so any other questions on the budget?
When you say all that you guys don't do a lot of work on it, like who do you feel, who owns it? I mean, I know we own it, but like, is there somebody at the borough side who is on top of, is like the maintenance lead maintenance guy at the borough, the guy who might know the, you know what I mean? Or
Somebody's gotta
who
be
is spending the
in charge.
time?
Somebody's
So
got to
the
be in charge of all
borough,
the brand
who
new
is, who is
trucks.
our subcontractor, the borough's handling the maintenance end of it and the services, and just like they found. Now, it's not like we're gonna do a conjunction moving forward, that we're gonna do more analysis, but just like this popular street, they're out checking the lines,
Yeah.
and they found this degradation, and there's gonna be more of that.
Who's the point for the borough for that? Like, what's, like,
The borough manager
Okay.
and myself,
okay.
and then obviously Ed and
Dan, probably.
Dan. So,
I mean, I think it's good if they're not, if you guys don't have to spend time on it, because you've got plenty to do at the wastewater plant, just trying to make sure somebody's kind of owning the thing, you know, or whatever, or would know all these, you know, would know all these answers on it, but, okay.
You're probably working in the daytime, but if you're around Conshohocken, walking around in the daytime, you see a lot of brand new trucks, and a lot of guys around with stormwater management trucks, so somebody's doing the work.
All right, good.
okay.
We're not ready to approve your report yet, are we? Or are
No,
we?
we're still talking. Now, we'll jump into the stormwater. As you recall, Tyler gave a presentation in August that if, you know, in regards to where we currently stand, you know, our cash reserves are very low. And if you were to turn the clock back at the beginning of this process and we started the stormwater, well, at least from our end, from a budgetary standpoint, we knew 2026, 2027, there was going to need necessary a rate increase. When we started the process, prior administration goal was stay at the $10. If you look, keep it simple, the $10 was the goal. If you knew behind the lines the budget, and Tyler, you can jump in any time, we knew the $10 was not sustainable for capital improvements. And if you look at right now, we have very minimal cash reserves, and after we do the project up Poplar Street, we have the money to complete that process and to pay off our services for this year, but we're basically going to be down to nothing, which leads us into, as Tyler explained back in August, you know, we have all these reductions that we're going to have to see with stormwater that are coming in the early 2030s. To meet that process, to make sure we have the capital reserve set for us, as Tyler explained, if you look at it, we had the little handout that to make it simple, you know, 2026, going from $10 to going to $12.25, going to 27, going to $14.50, and 2028 going to $17. This would sustain us, but still, if Tyler is correct, there's, within this analysis, is still a borrowing to meet the expectations of the 2030.
Yeah, so we're envisioning borrowing for some very large-scale volume reduction plans for the MS4 program. So the part of the struggle that we're having right now is we're in between those permits. They're still in draft format, so we don't know what the specific requirements are going to be. But based on what we know so far and what we're seeing cost-wise, we're looking, you know, into I would say probably around $10 million for projects to meet those requirements over the next, depending on when the permit comes out, 5 or 6 years. So we're envisioning borrowing for those projects and some larger scale, you know, capital improvement projects for infrastructure. And, you know, in doing that, we are able to keep that $17 as a flat rate, at least for the next, you know, few years after 2028. I say that, you know, basically because we don't know what comes in 10 years, right? So it's very good to reevaluate this on an annual or biannual basis and make sure we're preparing ourselves for what we know at that time.
Well, how did you come up with the $10 million for capital improvements?
Yeah, so that was based off of, so that's not necessarily for capital improvements as far as infrastructure repair or replacement, that's for regulatory capital improvement projects.
Okay.
So we're basing that off of the calculations that have been made available to us and doing some quick kind of back of the napkin estimates for the borough and then doing a cost per cubic foot of reduction. So we're kind of taking an average there. It's a swag for sure,
Okay.
but
Fair enough.
we're in the realm, yeah.
Great.
And the borrowing is just to fix a cash flow issue, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, well,
17
it's,
sustainable, but there'll be some big.
yeah,
bump that we-
there's a substantial amount of work that we're envisioning from a regulatory standpoint, as well as, finding more and more areas where replacement or, lining or something needs to be done for infrastructure. So in order to ensure that we're able to, meet all of those goals in a time frame that is realistic and does not put the borough or authority in a place where regulatory compliance is a concern or health and safety is a concern, we would recommend borrowing to get more done up front and, pay those debts over a longer period of time.
So if I can paraphrase back to you.
Sure.
You're looking at unanticipated or anticipated maintenance and infrastructure improvements, regulatory requirements, and we need a certain amount of capital in order to do that.
Correct.
So we got the rate increases in order to manage those capital expenses.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Are there grants possibly out there that would also help to supplement these
Yes,
improvements?
same thing for the sanitary, we have grants as well. And
When we borrow, what kind of rates can we get cheap borrow? Or
Yeah, so we're basing our assumptions on Penvest borrowing at this point. They are currently the best rates around, but I think the first 6 years are at a 1.7-ish%. Now we're building that in because that's what is the best available currently. We'll continue to evaluate if a bond is a better approach. To evaluate that approach. But yeah, always trying to get the best borrowing rate possible for sure.
if you look at the economics, you would anticipate over the next probably 2 years, the interest rates will continue to drop based upon the current market conditions. You can see the Fed just reduced it. So all that does eventually trickle down. It takes time. If they drop a couple percentage points, it does take cycles, maybe 1 or 2 quarters, till you actually see mortgage and everything else drop. So you would actually see if we anticipate it, and that's going to be, I don't know, I can't project 2030, but in the next 2-3 years, you're going to see the rates drop.
So every time the authority has done any borrowing over the last 10, 12 years, we've used a person by the name of Chris Gibbons from Concord Public Finance. Chris acts as the authority's financial advisor. You don't pay Chris until the money is borrowed. He takes his money out of the proceeds. He's part of the financing team along with your bond counsel. We've traditionally used Dave Nassiter from Overmeyer, Redmond, Maxwell, and Hipple. Chris does a lot of authority work. I actually was on the call with him this morning. One of my clients is borrowing $12 million, and Chris is putting it all together. Chris puts together a pretty detailed analysis about whether or not it makes sense to go through a bond, whether it's a loan, whether it's from Penvest, whether it's through the Delaware Valley Financing Authority, whether it's tax exempt debt or bank qualified debt. So he would put all of that together for you. The one thing we always have to check before we borrow money is we are a component unit of the borough, and the 2 units get $10 million or just under $10 million a year of bank qualified debt, which makes it a lot easier to borrow. If they're planning on borrowing money, we may not want to eat up all of their bank qualified debt. So once we start moving towards financing, we'll want to have that conversation with the borough and get Chris on board. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I don't want to linger too much on it. Do you have a power? What is in 2030? What does Conshohocken look like? Is there some huge, do you guys have with this 10 million? I know it's probably on that. You're not in that level of planning on it, but just curious. Are there options that we need to be that we should be considering that are better for aesthetics versus cost, or All right, what kind of decisions are going to have to be made?
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely going to be some aesthetics over costs, discussions, but I think the major issue and cost increaser for the MS4 side of things is tied to the open space and kind of lack of open space availability for stormwater. So what we would be looking at is a lot of underground systems, so a lot of underground infiltrations, and all of that then comes with some additional concerns from a constructability standpoint, but as far as, what we would be looking at in the view and landscape of the borough, I wouldn't assume that there'd be too much significant change. You might have some rain gardens and parks and things of that nature, but I would envision a lot of this is going to have to be underground. And that, also ties with, doing some of the capital improvement and replacement projects. Maybe we reroute stormwater to make sure that we're treating, a lot more in a more confined area.
Interesting. So, where are we at? Approval of the,
So where we're at right now is obviously we work in conjunction with Michael's office to get a resolution for a rate increase if you agree with the current structure that's been presented to you. We get this formulated for the December 15th meeting to approve the resolution for the rate increase, approve the budget for the stormwater, and approve the budget for sanitary as well, December 15th.
When we notify the public,
Yes.
do we notify them a year at a time? Or do you notify them of the overall plan?
We do it through our website.
But like, what is communicated?
Tell them
What's it going to be for 2026? What's it going to be for all the years?
But we've made changes.
Yeah, that's why I'm opening the door, because
If you want to put it all out there, because the last time we did a rate increase, we did it for the couple of years. And then we posted that on the website, and that was
And how was that received? Nobody said anything?
crickets. Crickets.
nobody said anything about the rate increase, but I remember somebody coming in and complaining about the sewer. Well, that was you.
Stormwater.
Stormwater.
And I don't want to have to come back and do it again.
I come back 12 times a year.
So if you
Because a lot of us brought up the same thing. How do we, we used to call it socialize, all right? How do we let people know about this so
Right.
that they're not getting a bill? They should know in advance, and,
Well, we could do it tonight.
Yeah.
We discuss tonight, we can get something written up and put it on our website right away by the beginning next week.
Have these numbers been shown to the borough?
Yes, I've talked to her, and we worked in conjunction with the borough.
So if you're adopting a multi-year rate increase, you should probably tell the public that you've adopted a multi-year rate increase. If you're only adopting a rate increase for 2026 and then this time next year you're going to reconsider it, I don't think you need to tell people what you're considering. You only need to tell them what you've actually adopted, so. It all depends on how you want to handle
Are
it.
we
Right.
approving-
As the public,
They wanna hear
I'd
your
want to
complaints.
know up front.
But then we can't change. I thought we recently changed what our projected rate increase. No. I mean, once you announce it, then
It's kind of long.
You're kind of locked in.
Yeah, well, once you adopt it, vote on it, you can go back in later and tweak it if you want to, make it lower, make it higher, but that may not be the best practice. So if we're very, very comfortable with these numbers and you want to do 3 years all at once, you can do it that way. Or again, like I said, you can just do
1 year.
1 year, so.
One of the things that made it appealing to me, and like this is just my opinion as the bill payer, is that the proposed going from a quarterly bill to a monthly bill, so that now my bill is that $30 going to be whatever, 36, whatever, $40 is, I'm going to have to manage it monthly, and that makes it easier for me than a big amount, a quarter amount. Same amount of money, but mentally, I can handle 1225 as opposed to 40.
What does that mean for you, Shannon? Yeah.
The increase in
That would mean
administrative.
extra billings, so that would mean instead of the 4 billings, we would have to somehow come up with some kind of plan. If we're doing monthly billings, then doing the delinquent notices and the lien letters and the water shutoffs and stuff like that. If I've got to do that monthly rather than quarterly,
Couldn't they still be done quarterly?
well, we
Yeah.
could.
So
Good.
whatever you prefer, I mean, we have no monthly, I mean, you get, most of your bills are monthly anyway.
Right.
And, you know, we can work in conjunction with Mike himself, you know, how we do our, I don't think it's gonna change our process and how we're doing the liens by doing it monthly, right? I don't see that changing at all.
No, you're still gonna base it on.
Basic quantity,
same
dollar
amount of
amount.
time
Yeah.
delinquent or the same amount of money delinquent. I don't know what the threshold is now, but what do we have? If you haven't paid in a year, or if you're over a certain dollar amount?
It's only over 250.
Okay.
There's not a time limit at all.
Okay. And is that for businesses as well, or, yeah, okay.
So business and consumers are the same amount?
Yeah, but businesses get
Businesses
leaned
get it.
more, businesses
Right,
get the
they're
letters
gonna
more
get-
often
Yeah.
because their
Because their
bills are
bills are
higher.
higher.
But yes,
Okay.
How much more work does it make for you to go from 4 to 12?
I'm not really sure. I don't,
true. Santa's.
we would have to,
This
we
is
would,
just
we would have to
exactly
be going through the billing process every month rather than every quarter, so
And how much,
Not
how
the
long
salary.
does the billing process take when you do
a
a
week or
quarterly?
two.
Yeah, not to sound like a smart ass, but it'd be 3 times as much.
Well, that's what
Yes.
I'm
Just say it.
Right.
Unless it's like, unless she's telling me there's some other
I meant to
efficient
sound
way,
like
but I
a
agree.
smart
ass.
It makes me,
It's 3
Right.
times
A
as
little
much,
bit.
because you're not.
So I'm
saying-
gonna, let me give the perspective as we say we're gonna get a better qualified individual. And this is nothing against our current staffing.
Right.
But from my standpoint and my point of view, my expectations are gonna be a lot higher with a more qualified individual. So if you look at that, the rhyme or reason, if you go to a monthly, you know, do we say, and you can jump in, Shannon, hey, by the third quarter of next year, we wanna go monthly as we proceed to get this individual. So you can look at it that way as we, you know, because I don't problem telling you, my expectations are gonna be a lot higher, whoever we get. Current, and this is nothing against my current group that we have, but as we have had discussions behind the lines, this is where we want to take our,
Right. We have an
That makes perfect
opportunity.
sense. Yeah, and, you know, I don't see any offense whatsoever to the
we
current staff. It's
optimize
just a matter
our
of,
Cassell system. This all opens up the possibilities that we can do, as we did all these improvements over the last few years.
And what are the costs of doing it monthly as opposed to doing it quarterly? Because now you have more postage and more paperwork.
What is it exactly that takes 1 to 2 weeks? I mean, how-
Why does it take?
Yeah,
Okay,
like,
so-
what is not automated about the
So the
process?
way-
No, I don't mean, yeah,
No, no,
sorry,
no,
that sounded
no,
odd.
no, you're fine.
What is the non-automated part of the
So
process?
the way that it works is we send an email to Aqua to get the reads from Aqua, okay? And then we get those files from Aqua, and then they have to be loaded into the system. Once they are loaded into the system, the reads need to be checked against the report to make sure that we're billing them properly. Then we have to take all of the certs for the month, which are the houses that sold and all of those. We need to check all of those bills and make sure that they are prorated properly, because they're not supposed to be billed a whole quarter. Once all of that is checked, then we send it to the printer, and we send it, and then they print the bills.
And can the first part of that not be automated? Like,
that was
why
my
are people doing that? Why can't, so there's some numbers that.
Well,
Aqua's-
really, it's just a file that's uploaded, but I have to manipulate a little bit. Doesn't take that long to manipulate it, but you have to manipulate it, and then it gets loaded into the system. Aqua does not talk to Cassell, so somebody's going to have to
Yeah,
import
yeah.
that data.
So there's some manual.
Yeah. It's
But then the
really,
system
it's really
will-
like cutting and pasting columns and then
Into their
uploading the file.
format.
Yep, yes.
And then the system does the rest.
And then the system does the rest, but then you just, like I said, you have to make sure, because we had the incident in September where the read didn't pull the right column because the right amount of columns weren't deleted. So,
Could
as
there
long as
be
the-
and this is a question, this is not like because I know how to do it.
Okay.
Like a macro that can be created that can automatically take care of the deletion of the excess columns?
Talking with Cassell, this is the way that they seem to be able to manipulate the data. They don't ever mention macros. I don't,
That, it would be, like when you get the file from Aqua, is it an Excel file?
it is an Excel file, yes.
So Excel you would have the macro in Excel.
Right.
Excel would manipulate the data,
Right.
and then Cassell is the company that does the billing.
Is the
right?
billing, yes.
So they really have no part of this. It would
No.
be the
Yeah, well-
macro run in Excel. The end result would be the file that's in the correct format for Cassell,
Right.
and it would be uploaded.
Right, and talking to Cassell, they're saying this is the only way that they know how to manipulate the data to get it to push in the system the right way.
But they're not doing that, you are.
I have to fix the file, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So we're saying if there could
So
be
if
a
we can
macro
find a way-
created, that would eliminate the error that happened in September, and it would reduce the amount of time to do this. You need an Excel nerd.
Do you know an Excel nerd? Because,
I may know an Excel nerd.
okay.
You an Excel nerd?
I've gone down the Excel rabbit hole.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
so you might be able to help me with a macro? Okay, well,
Amen.
I can send you the files and we can see if we can come up with something.
You have to do the exact same thing all the time?
Yeah, as long as
sounds
things
very
are consistent,
repetitive.
I
Yes,
should, yeah, I
it's,
can,
it should be the same thing every time.
yep, I can help
Yes.
you out with
So
that.
all you would have to do is click to activate the macro.
That would be great. That would be fantastic.
I might not even need you to click.
Okay.
It might be a copy,
Right.
copy and paste it in.
You will
or,
be my
know.
hero
I
after
will-
I,
Are we thinking of monthly because we think it will reduce the number of delinquencies?
I was thinking that after I read through.
I'm not sure if that's gonna be borne out. I don't think our delinquencies are that high, percentage-wise, and I don't think the amount of liens we have is that high. I think most places are quarterly, White Marsh is twice a year. Some of the more
Yeah.
less well-off communities go to monthly because they realize that once that bill gets up to be $40 or $50 or $60 for a quarter. But I'm not sure if you're
It's
gonna
worth
see
it.
it decrease that much. It might. I'm just kind of offering my thoughts. I'm not sure if it will, so.
And just throwing it out there, I still want the macro.
Yeah.
You still have to do it 4 times a year.
The other thing I think you should be prepared for is you're gonna get a lot of complaints. You're gonna get a lot of complaints about, now I have to pay my bill monthly, now I have to do this, now I have to be looking for it monthly, on top of a rate increase, on top of a couple of other things, you know, but, you know, it's.
Right. I mean, I was actually looking at the rate increase as a positive to go monthly, because my bills, you know, it would go up $2.25 as opposed to, you know,
I
times
actually don't
3.
mind quarterly, so.
Yeah. It's because it's always a mystery to me, and it's a mystery of 3 months. Just a personal thing. You know, why you got this whack job showing up and giving complaints at a meeting.
I will send you the files tomorrow. See if we can come up with
Why don't we
something.
do this? We'll do by next, this doesn't have to be done, you know, right away. We get, by next, we'll give you an analysis what it would cost and where we come up with efficiency. And, I mean, I agree with Michael in regards to, I don't know it's gonna change much of the delinquency. It's not that we can't do it.
Right.
We can do it monthly. It's not, it's all.
Let's face it, I'm part of the board now. I'll suck it up and do whatever we decide. Not
You're
gonna
gonna be paying your
complain.
bill?
I'll pay my bill.
Okay.
I
That
promise.
sounds-
And I'll
You do that
remind you.
macro, I promise I'll pay my bill.
Thanks for looking at it.
So I think, Tyler, do we have anything else? We good? Okay, so How do you want to proceed, to give us a recommendation to proceed next month for the resolution for the rate increase for stormwater? Or do you just want to do it 1 year, or do you want to do the 3-year?
And if you want to think about it, we can produce 2 resolutions.
Yeah, we can do it both
One
ways,
with
so
a
whatever
1
you-
year and one with a 3-year.
I suggest we go with
Approve it, or talking about whether or not we
We're
approve
just
it for
doing-
3
we do
years?
either
or we
way.
just- Or are we showing it to the customers for 3
No,
years?
well,
both,
Doing-
both, right?
So it would be like
So,
both
this is what we're
locking
proposing.
ourselves into it for 3 years as well as,
Anybody
Just
who
tell me.
listens to these meetings knows, if you think about it.
sure.
Yeah, and I would think that the agenda for next month, which we post, should be, the resolution should be very clear, that this is a resolution to increase stormwater fees for 2026 or 2026, 2027, 2028. I don't think we want to be obscure at all in what we're saying. I think we want it to be incredibly clear, so.
So do you want him, we'll just prepare the 2 resolutions then?
Sure.
I mean,
Whatever yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Thanks.
do you have an opinion? I mean, are you leaning one way or the other?
I'm leaning to, I prefer to go, put it out there for the 3-4 years, okay? That would be my opinion, and that's all it is opinion, not based on anything but how I feel right now, okay? So, I don't think, granted, it's quarterly, and, you gotta take these percentages out, because that makes it look bad, okay? I see $2.25, I say, oh, what the hell?
Same here.
I see 22.5%, that's,
it's a lot more than inflation.
yeah.
Right.
Well,
So,
how confident are we that these rate increases will account for all the necessary?
we're not.
But we're not.
Yeah, I mean, so this rate increase will get us to the point where we would definitely have the information that we don't have now, and we can, reevaluate the regulatory side of things. From, all other perspectives, confident. The regulatory side of things, I think, is the area of which the confidence is not unconfident, but diminished, right? So, 2 years from now, we will definitely know what those costs are. I shouldn't say definitely. If DEP continues to move forward how we believe they will, we will know those costs with substantially more confidence.
I
So we're
think if-
confident in this is getting us through the next couple of years.
Correct, yeah.
And if we put some context around it as to why they have to be increased, and you say these are the projected increased amounts, your butt's covered because you're saying it's projected. Projected means that it could change. It could go up, it could go down. It's projection. I think it's just more transparent to people that we have to change. That's the real message, is that it has to change, it has to go up. Here's why, and here's what we propose, and we may need to modify that as we move forward, because we only know what we know, and that's it.
Okay, so you're going to come back with the idea for 1 year versus, and the 3 years?
Yes, we'll have 2 resolutions for next
Great.
month. And then for that's, and you'll be approving the budget for stormwater with the number, which was 700 and some thousand, I think, right? 790, it's in here. I know I got some numbers in my head. And then you'll be approving the budget for sanitary. And then take the objectivity, and I want to give you what Tina thought for next year as we do the HRD provides the update for, as we move forward, there is possibly adjustment that may occur next year, mid-year for sanitary, moving forward. That was her, I had a conversation with her on Friday, that's why I reached out to everyone if you had any comments or questions. So we'll be working in conjunction with Tyler to get a cost, what's going to do, what we're going to do moving forward.
So you're saying an adjustment on the rates mid-year next year on the.
There is a
sewer?
chance, based upon what, her and our conversation, there could be maybe an adjustment being made next mid-year, moving forward. From her perspective.
Isn't there already one?
We have a 9 and 5% increase for next year.
Okay, and there might be another mid.
And just something very unique about authorities is townships, school district, boroughs can only raise taxes once a year. You can raise rates whenever you want. You can do it in December, you can do it again in February, you can do it. And sometimes I've seen it where someone's gone out for a borrowing, and there's sometimes what in a borrowing is something called a rate covenant. So your rates have to be sufficient to cover your borrowing, and people will make rate increases in the middle of the year. So I'm not recommending that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're doing that.
It's all a suggestion at the point. The goal is, as we prevent all these different concepts that we're doing, how we're gonna cover our capital, how we're gonna cover our loan structure moving forward over the next 5 years.
Do we not have enough information to do, so we're doing 9% now, do we not have enough information to say 9.5 or 10? Rather than
Try
doing
to
one
cover it in the
now and then
midterm.
one in the middle of next year and then.
The game plan is based upon what we projected was that, the one we did with Royal was 10, 10, 10, 10, and that was just gonna sustain us. And I think that was even higher than the 10 they were projecting.
Each year, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, all the way through.
But I mean, what we have for this year is 9, right?
Yeah, 9 and 5. 9 for the
9 and
Conchi
5.
and 5 for
So
West.
we don't have enough information to say, why don't we do 10 now instead of,
Not for,
Next
we-
year.
the
Yeah, another-
2026 increase is dealing with, who did our last one? Howard did our
Woods
last.
did the
That was
rate
3
and
years
study.
ago.
Yeah.
That was-
Got us
so this
through,
last-
yep.
This is the last increase in our
Yeah.
rate increase that we
Based
put in
upon
place
that
3 years ago.
analysis.
okay, and we have to do the analysis.
We're gonna be doing a
Like, we
formalized
need to do a
analysis for the.
formal analysis before
Correct.
we do it.
Yeah.
Which is
Or
what
it's
you
recommended.
said, the HR, that's.
We're gonna have HRG. I think Howard, I've not reached out to Howard, but I know he had some health-related issues the last time I talked to him, and I don't know if he's back, but we have HRG who did our stormwater, and they had the capabilities through their group to do our sanitary as well.
How much does that cost? The,
Yeah, so that's something that Brent and I were talking about. I want to clarify a few things with Brent before I provide numbers, because it does sound like there are some additional.
There is some different things. I provided the outline structure that we're looking at, and then he's gonna give me a formalized quote, and then we'll approve that as accordingly.
And don't forget, we're getting a macro out of the deal.
that's probably fine.
I'm not gonna let you forget.
Are we ready to
Gotta
approve your
get
report?
No, we're not done with my report.
We are not done with your report?
So, as you know, we went out with requests for proposals for solicitor, engineers, and auditor. So before I move on to the auditor position, as you see my team across the board here, Michael and his group, Ebert Engineering, and obviously HRG, there is nothing going to be presented for them to change at this point in time. From my perspective, we have gone out, due to the fact that we're in a structure dealing with the, our electrical right now, I am not recommending making any change at this point. I think the team that we have present in here right now is adequate. They do an excellent job. We've had numerous conversations, I've had conversations with all of them to, obviously, you talk about efficiency, we're working as a group at getting them more efficient. So we have optimized that. That's not saying we're not gonna look at it, different perspective next year, but we have a lot on the table right now. Then, from a request for proposal from the solicitor, we had two of them. And obviously, if you're looking for a dollar amount, Michael, his group is the most competitive. If you look from Ebert Engineering, they're the most competitive, and then HRG as well in regards to what they're doing with the stormwater. So this leads me into the request for proposal. As you know, Christine started this off a year ago in regards to the auditor, and could we become more efficient in that operation? So there will be a recommendation tonight. If you reviewed the small spreadsheet, we received 4, correct? Yes. 4. All of them we have contacted all their references. We have not received one poor reference from any of them. So the four that provided quotes to us for request for proposal, all of them have provided, all have been sought to references, and we have not had one bad remark from any of them. So, I think the goal was set from the board last year. Could we find a more cost-effective means from the auditing standpoint to reduce our costs? Because if you know, that was, we usually have an order of $40,000 to $60,000 a year.
Right in front.
Mayor, and I'm saying this, Mayor Dussel was the low request for proposal. $15,000 or less currently from where we stand right now. And again, I owe you to tell you, each one of them we had really good references, not one. And Stan, you made the calls.
There were no complaints from any of them. So if we're going based on low bid, I would be comfortable with Mayor Dussel if that's what you guys decide.
What does the 4 additional work, presentation and spreadsheet mean?
Oh, that's just if there's additional work. I wanted to ask them if they were going to charge us. So if something comes up in the audit that is outside of the normal
Oh, so
scope,
that much hourly.
yes, it would be that much hourly for them to prepare that analysis.
So again, from this perspective, we're presenting this, you don't have to approve this tonight. And we could, obviously, next month or even January, we would like to have a decision as we move forward, because we obviously want to be ahead of our conjunction.
You probably want to do it before the end of the year because
the-
they're going to have to meet with the other one to get the information.
Okay.
Transfer.
So, but if you're going from perspective of quality, all of them have presented quality to us, and we're in our research. And if you're going off of the cost benefit to us, obviously, you're seeing a $15,000 or more decrease in our expenses for auditing.
I don't know what we're losing, though. I mean, it's a significant percent lower bid, right?
Correct. What would you be losing? I mean,
Maybe they're just using cheaper
Kathy has
folks.
years' experience in here. She knows our system.
So are these are committed, so this is their commitment, or it's a projected, their estimate based?
It's a proposal.
That is what they will charge. They said there should not, like I said, unless there is something huge that pops up. This is the cost. Usually it's pretty good. Usually there's nothing.
If they want to exceed that number, they got to come back to you and
Yes.
justify why.
Yep.
And again, I would submit that the way this is listed on the agenda, you probably can't approve it tonight. It's listed more as a discussion item, so we can put it on appointment of the auditor for December. We can leave it blank, and you can all think about who you want to do.
My thought is that if we're going to say that who we have has the experience and knowledge of having done it, then why put it out to bid? Because that's always going to be a disadvantage to every other bid.
And I know it's a minor point, and everyone's using the word bid. This isn't a bid.
Right.
Bids, under Pennsylvania law, you're required to accept the low bidder. These are requests for proposal. You're not required to accept the low. You can go back in and negotiate with them if you want to. But bids are a little bit different, but I know that people use those terms interchangeably, so.
I was being lazy, I didn't know what to say instead.
Not you. This one, Simpson, Brinker Simpson.
Way to the left.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So again, this is for information. I think you take some time to thought. I mean, the goal was, if you look at a year ago when we started looking at, I think it was a year ago, it was looking at a dollar amount. Again, all of them, I have to reiterate, is that we had good feedback from all their current clients. So It's ultimately going to make, what you prefer next month to make the decision on.
It's kind of shocking to me that the one that we're using is the highest.
So I did talk to her, and she explained to me that she does her cost based on experience, and she knows what this audit takes. And she feels that the 45 is, I can talk to her and see if she will reduce it, but she believes that with the time that she has to put in and everything else, she feels that 45,000 is adequate, and she thinks some of these other low bidders don't really know
What they're getting
what they're
into.
getting into.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And could any of the other RFPs, do we know if they do this for other authorities? They do, so they do know what.
So they do, they are working on other authorities, and the references that they gave me, some of them were authorities, so it's,
So we just know what she said, that it's her experience that warrants that amount.
yes, she knows the ins and outs of the agreements.
But the competitors,
Everything- Yeah, they don't know all of that. Like,
the
for example.
competitors have proven that they do with the
Right,
references.
but for example, like when I was doing the interviews and talking to them, they were all very hyper-focused on the agreement with the borough. And feeling that our financials should be on the borough's financials. So I'm not sure every authority is run the same way as so I don't know the actual.
Yeah, ours may be more complicated.
Yeah.
That's what she's trying to say.
That's right, so I don't know,
Okay.
I don't know,
What are your
I'm not
thoughts
sure what
on
the,
that, Mike? Why would our, financials be included in the boroughs?
We're independent.
That's what I
We're a
mean.
component unit.
Right.
The
Right.
borough may, in some of their filings, have to list information regarding the component unit. The borough may have to say, the borough doesn't guarantee anything for us, right? All of our borrowing, we had no borough guarantee. We borrowed all of that money on our own, so, yeah, they sometimes list it, but with all the authorities I represent, I don't know if any of them, their financials are with the incorporating municipality. I'll give you one example. I represent the North Wales Water Authority, probably the largest water authority in southeastern Pennsylvania, public water authority. It's incorporated by North Wales Borough, which probably has a budget of $2 million a year, and the North Wales Water Authority probably has a budget of about $60 million a year. So it would be a little strange to put our budgeted numbers into their budget. It would, I don't know why they would do it, so.
Right, so my question is, why would somebody expect that when it's not the norm?
It might be something that they're just used to doing. It might be something that they're very nervous about we have a little bit of a different relationship with the borough because of the stormwater agreement than most authorities. So maybe they're just nervous about that, and they're trying to just be very careful, so.
Again, that would be an education process that if we do make a change, I bring the team that, bring him on board, we educate.
Right.
Pretty hard to ignore 15,000, right, or 30% or whatever.
and
So-
again, I can go back to Kathy and see if she can come lower, but it didn't sound like she wanted to, so
Yeah,
My guess is
right.
Okay.
it's bad for business when you're representing 10, 12, 15 municipal entities and you're charging all of them sort of one general idea, and then for one you go significantly less. It's probably a little bit problematic for their business model, so.
Because it's all public information too, right?
There's no way that cheap bidder misinterpreted the scope, you know what I mean? Like, is the scope pretty clear? I know we didn't put out a bid, and all that stuff.
So I
but-
guess part of it, Jack, is not all audits are created equal. There's the DCED audit that they need to do every year, And sometimes I'm not saying any one of these companies is doing this, but this is what they probably are projecting for an authority this size with this many accounts, what they normally do. You know, if they run into a whole host of problems or a whole host of issues, they may end up not making as much as they thought they were, or maybe losing a little bit of money on it. But, there are some, these are all big firms, but there are some people who submit for these audits who are 3- and 4-person firms. And they come in and they do a real snapshot audit. You know, they basically ask Shannon to pull information from 6 different accounts. They say, oh yeah, all the invoices were submitted properly on this one, a reimbursement was miscoded on this one, and you're getting maybe a little bit more bare bones of a report. And some people who are doing the much deeper dive. So the one thing I will say is we don't seem to have had any problems with our audits in the last several years. And remember, and I'm not sure how many people other than me remember this, Ed probably does, but you know, I first came to the authority in 2008 after the former executive director had stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's when we got hired at that time. You know, we have nothing that even comes close to that. We have nothing that, you know, our audits are all pretty clean and everything. We don't have millions of accounts, you know, and our billing, notwithstanding what Shannon was saying before, it is relatively simple. It's we take information from Aqua, we input it, we send it out in a bill. So I don't think it's any complicated.
I think we have good checks and balances from all our team. I mean, you know, we have a group that comes in once a month that goes over our further checks and balances. And I would expect, you know, Shannon to be very detailed, provide a very simplistic audit. That's how I feel. You know, with it. And again, that's because of all the stuff that has been done, like you said, from Mike being here in 2008, all those fine tunings have been incorporated to make the audit simpler from a perspective of how we operate.
And the audit includes both sanitation and stormwater.
Correct.
And it did this year.
Yes.
So even though we're separating the budgets for next year, it's still one audit.
Yes.
And did each of these companies provide like an estimate of how much of your time they expect?
They all seem to think that they can do most of it remotely, and same with Kathy, really be in just maybe 1 or 2 days, nothing major, just to pull like invoices or whatever. They seem to think they can do it all remotely.
Okay. So the last item I have on my agenda, then you can close me out, is obviously December 15th, 6 p.m. will be our next meeting. Basically, you know, to pay the bills, and then we'll have a small, you know, items for the budgets, and I think, you know, that would be the night that you have a get together afterwards as well. So if we all agree, December 15th at 6 p.m. I think everyone in this room would agree with it. And we'll set that for next meeting. And that will complete my report.
Okay, a motion to approve the executive director's report.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll
second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approved. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.